Good morning and welcome to the Tech Talks first session, which is going to be from HID, demonstrating their latest innovation and high-end solution from their Secure Issuance division. And they've developed two new printers for ID cards. Following the session, you'll be prompted to join the live Q&A.
Thank you all for taking the time to visit with us today and hear what we're about to launch and present to the audience. We've got a lot of exciting content, and so let me get started with the presentation. What we're going to launch to you today, to you, the marketplace, the end users, the partners, is the HID FARGO INK1000 card printer. It really is the first of its kind. It presents an opportunity to change the market space of desktop card printing. It's a highly specialized combination of thermal inkjet technology as well as the hardware and how we prepare the cards to be able to receive that ink directly onto an off-the-shelf standard PVC card. Truly an industry first, and we're very excited to be the first manufacturer to offer this revolutionary card printing technology to that desktop card space, where historically we've been promoting and designing printers around ribbon-based technology, and this is the first of its kind. We're really excited to get into it, so let's get into some details. The FARGO INK1000 platform that we're launching today starts with an HID FARGO INK1000 single-side printer. So really what we're promoting to you and what we're educating the market about today is that very simple first product in our portfolio. It utilizes a single ink cartridge. It does have full yellow, magenta, cyan color cartridge capabilities, that we are creating a composite black from that yellow, magenta, and cyan ink. Creates a very nice, rich, dark black that is fully barcode readable, and it does give you the capabilities to create very small text, very fine lines, as well as some of those character-based texts. We're able to do that in a very crisp and defined manner. So really an enhanced print experience with a card printer utilizing the inkjet-based technology. And from an expansion perspective of utilizing that card to do more, we are also offering a contactless encoder upgrade option. This is utilizing our OmniKey 5127 CK Mini. So if you've used any of our card printers in the past, or if you've been aware of the HID FARGO brand, a little over a year ago we launched our HDP 6600 series of retransfer printers. In that series of printers, we launched a new encoder, the 5127 CK Mini. So we're bringing that offering down into the entry-level space with this INK1000 printer, and we're very excited to have that full contactless encoding capability right in line within the card path. So should you decide to use those cards for access control, cashless vending, you can also do that right within your personalization solution. And finally, it created an opportunity to give us the chance to print that full card surface. So we're getting a full color, true edge-to-edge printing in a very high 600 by 1200 DPI print resolution. Something we currently don't have the capability to do in a ribbon-based print world on a direct-to-card side because of the limitations that are present with that print method. So we're very excited to get you a very high resolution, dark color, crisp image capability in a very affordable price point. So let me kind of walk you around what this HID FARGO INK1000 printer looks and feels like. So it's very simplistic in operation, and we've got a very simple console. So we do have a single button that does power on and off the printer. That button is also used for transversing the print or the print cartridge container. So it'll move that cartridge to be present if you want to insert a new cartridge or replace the print cartridge itself. We have a very easy to use input hopper. You fold down the input door. The hopper is present right in front of you. You can stack in up to 100 cards on the input hopper side. We have a very simple U-shaped card path. So the card goes in the input hopper, slides towards the back of the machine on a print platen, shuttles itself back and forth with the ink cartridge doing the personalization, And finally, when it's done, it presents itself into that output tray. So you have the same side input and output hoppers facing the end users. So it really creates a very easy to use printer that will give you a very modular space. You can place it anywhere and have access to those consumables as well as the finished product right in front of your face. So very nice. We do have a slide door on the top that once that is opened, it does give you the opportunity to present the ink cartridge carriage. So that's a very easy to use ink cartridge installation or changing point, very similar to what you would experience in a home desktop-based inkjet paper printer. So a very familiar use case, and we're very excited that people are going to have hopefully a very improved user experience in a card issuance space. From a product specifications perspective, I want to kind of walk you through comparatively what does this look like when compared to commercially available products that HID may offer today. So I'm going to compare it to our C50 or our DTC 1250 e-printers. Very similar in footprint, very similar in capability and function in terms of apples to apples when comparing an inkjet versus a ribbon-based dye sublimation printer. So starting from the top down, you can see from a print technology perspective, we have an opportunity with inkjet to really raise that print resolution. We're getting in that 600 by 1200 DPI print resolution, far higher than we could ever do on a ribbon-based dye sub printer, which is commonly in the 300 DPI print space. So we're able to really raise that print resolution, but that does come with a trade-off, the throughput speed. So the big difference here is when we're utilizing inkjet, we have to make sure that we properly account for the time to get that ink sufficiently bit into the card surface and get it dry. So when we present it to the end user in the output tray, it's fully dry, ready to use. And so that's why we're seeing that throughput speed drop a little bit to ensure that that card is fully ready to use at the time of exit. From a capability perspective, still utilizing single side compatibility. Card size, we're compatible with the very industry standard CR80 size in the 30 mil thickness. And from an input and output capacity, very much the same. We're still able to stack 100 cards on the input side and get into up to 30 cards on the output hopper before you need to empty that output hopper should you be printing in some batch modes. From an encoding perspective, again, we have that opportunity to contactless encode those cards. So if you're in an environment that does want to do some cashless vending, maybe utilize them for access control purposes, you have that opportunity to do it all within the printer, minimizing the steps and the opportunity for error when creating those ID badges and credentials. From a warranty perspective, HID is really has a strong warranty in the marketplace. We do offer a factory standard 2-year warranty with a 3rd year of free warranty coverage upon the time of registration. So very simply, you get the printer, there'll be a registration card inside the printer packaging. Open it up, go online, it'll provide you all the instructions. You'll basically provide some very simple data as far as, I just purchased this INK1000 printer, here's the receipt, so the date of purchase, and at that point, HID will give you a 3rd year of free warranty coverage on that printer. So very strong warranty to ensure that you've got a very robust product for a long, long time in your workspace. And then finally, we also give you that strong opportunity to really provide cost-effective card issuance. So very exciting, very new to the marketplace, really changing the game in how we're giving that power back to the end users to create an opportunity that gives them the flexibility to create cards at a cost point that really works for them. So from a positioning perspective, as I mentioned earlier, if you've purchased or if you're using HID printers today, or maybe you're new to the space, I want to give you a little bit of an understanding of where does a printer like this fit into HID's portfolio of FARGO-based card printers. So as you can see here, at the very top in our premium section, I would say, we've got the Element series. So that's really our top of the line printing portfolio, or printers in the portfolio. Really followed with the retransfer line of printers under the HDP banner. So the HDP 6600 and HDP 5000, those are really our top of the line printers. You go down a layer to more to the higher end. We've got our DTC 5500 LMX, DTC 4500E, and finally our DTC 4250E. These printers really provide a lot of opportunity to have higher input capacities, more encoding capabilities. Lamination is very common in a lot of these printers, so it's kind of another layer up in terms of security features, output capacities, ribbon capacities, those sorts of things. Really kind of that higher end. And then finally you get down to the base layer that really is kind of our bread and butter of what we do really, really well. And we're able to fill the market with a lot of these printers to help satisfy a big market portion, is our entry level. So you've got the INK1000 fitting nicely in with our DTC 1250E, DTC 1500, and finally our C50 printer. So this is going to fill a price point and functionality perspective really in the entry level side. So not overly not overly expensive, but also not really having all of those very higher end features that come with our premium and higher end products. So from a differentiation perspective, we really wanted to start with a clean slate when we designed the INK1000 printer. And we had an opportunity to create what we felt was the easiest to use card printer on the market today. We wanted to give users an opportunity to have a printer that is so similar to what they would use in their personal lives, whether it's their home office, student experiences, things of that nature, where you had an inkjet-based paper printer. We really want this to feel and look very similar to that. So should somebody walk up and start using this printer, it's immediately familiar to them. Another big differentiator is ink on demand. So if you're familiar with ribbon-based printers, it doesn't matter if you print a single name and a small photograph, you're still utilizing those full 3-color ribbon panels, yellow, magenta, and cyan, whether you print the entire panel or not. So the way that design and that procedure works, you have full color panels available for every card you're going to print, whether you print all of it or not. So potentially you may be wasting a lot of dye that is carried on those ribbon panels ready to be used. If you're not utilizing it, it really just goes to waste. So we have an opportunity with Inkjet to apply ink when and where we need it, giving us the ultimate in ink efficiency and very, very low waste. And finally, a very strong point is a very low maintenance and service needs schedule. So when we designed this printer, we were able to start with a clean slate. We no longer had the need to have a large series of rollers to help manage that card positioning inside the printer. We're able to really reduce the number of moving parts. We have far less rollers, motors, gears, all of the componentry that typically is utilized in a ribbon-based printer. We're able to minimize that and very, very much simplify the process and how we do it. And also including in that is no more expensive print heads. So on the inkjet-based printers, all of our ink cartridges have the print head built right into it. So if something were to happen in that printer environment, it damaged that cartridge or damaged that print head, you replace the cartridge, you get a new print head immediately with it, you're off to the races. If you were to damage a print head in a ribbon-based card printer, it's a very expensive and costly repair to get that printer up and running again. So it's something that a lot of our users are very, very cautious about. They take a lot of time to ensure that the printers are clean, well maintained, and we certainly still encourage that, but it doesn't create as much risk for printer damage as it has in the past. So it's a really strong differentiator to help lower that total cost of ownership over the life of that printer. And really from a value proposition, finally is our key word. You finally don't have ribbons to break. So if you're using ribbon-based printers today, you know what I mean. If you've tried to create a color that's too dark, or if you've tried to move the white edge of that print side on a direct card printer, you're trying to minimize your top of form or end of form, you may run that print head up to the edge of the card and break that ribbon. Things of that nature, it just happens. And unfortunately, sometimes it can cause some damage. So we don't have that risk anymore. We don't have that risk of expensive print heads to be damaged. As I mentioned, you get a new print head with every cartridge. It's built right in. One of the big challenges in ribbon-based printing today is misregistration. And misregistration is commonly an error over time when printers aren't properly cleaned and maintained. If those rollers get dirty and the card isn't able to perfectly position itself between panel printings, you get a little misregistration. It leads to blurry images, less than ideal card output. We no longer have that risk anymore. We're applying all of those colors at the same time every time we pass over the card. And again, an inkjet printer that doesn't need special cards to work, using your traditional PVC composite cards, something that you're already using in your environment today. If you're using ribbon-based printers, it's going to work in this printer. You don't need to buy anything special to make that happen. Eliminating the white perimeter border. This was something that was only available in retransfer-based printers on the market today. So our HDP printers were the only printers that you could get in a desktop format that would remove that full white perimeter border on a card. You don't have to have that anymore. We can do that full card coverage on the inkjet-based printers, the INK1000. Get a really nice full card coverage with this printer. And you're able to do it with a really high print resolution. You can get those really crisp, well-defined photographs, images, logos. It all looks very, very nice and beautiful with that high 600 by 1200 DPI resolution. I'll open it up for some questions, and that's the end of my presentation. So,
looks as though we have a good number of people joining. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. We'll be starting Q&A with Bernd and Bjorn from HID in just a moment's time. We'll just wait for a few more people to join, but thank you for getting up bright and early today for the IFSEC Tech Talks. Hope we've got off to a good start for you. And like I say, Bernd and Bjorn are here to answer your questions. So, well, I tell you what, why don't we kick off right now? And if more people join, then that's fine. But Bernd and Bjorn, thank you very much indeed for joining us this fine morning. I'm sure many of our attendees were just watching the video over on the other channel just now, but for anyone who is just joining, just give us a brief overview of what the video was talking about and kind of where it sits and what it's for, who it's for.
Yeah, hello everyone, thanks for having us. We have come up with a new technology calling the ink technology in the card printer sector. So basically you're used to card printers that use a thermal printing technology, but this is brand new to the industry that you can actually use a ink technology, very easy to use, with a very good ease of use for the user actually, which is totally new to the market because as of now it wasn't possible to have an ink technology printer with that footprint.
Super stuff. So whereabouts do you see this being in use? Various clients, various offices that I visit, you need to have that security card in there. Schools, colleges, one of my children uses one of those to get in and out of her school. What are the different sectors that this is targeted for in particular?
So because of this ease of use, it's basically what what you're used to from your printer inkjet when you look at the paper printer, because as of now, if you look at card printers, they were more complicated and more complicated to set up. So basically anywhere where you need an easy out-of-the-box printing experience, that could be in a school environment, that could be in any company environment, where you have visitors, for example, where you print a visitor card quick and easy. Any use case like that, that printer fits very good.
Super. We've had a question come in already. Thank you very much for your question, James. Which cards can be used with the printer? Are there any special materials that are required for the cards? What kind of stock, I guess, in traditional printing we'd be talking about?
So the beauty of this printer is that you can use the standard PVC card, so you don't need any specific cards for it. If you look at printers that were on the market before with an inkjet, you needed a very special surface for the ink.
Yes.
But with this printer, you actually don't need it. You can use your regular PVC card as you know it from your bank card, for example. And it can be also with a chip in it, so you can print on tech cards as well, no problem.
Grand. Thank you very much. Another question that saw on the other window, and just seeing here as well, can it be integrated with visitor management software directly?
So we deliver this printer with the standard Windows driver. So basically you can print out of any Windows environment on that printer. So you just install the driver and print out of your Windows environment as you used to with a normal printer.
Thank you very much indeed. Please do keep your questions coming in through the various platforms, and we'll put them to Bjorn and Bernd right now. Another one here. Obviously, we're talking about security here. That's one of the main reasons why these cards are used for kind of passive and active security. Which security protocols are there on the system to ensure it cannot be misused or prevent unauthorized access?
Okay, for those kind of use applications, I would rather refer to the other printers that we have in our portfolio, because that's not the actual use case for the printer. So we have printers that use encryption and everything for secure-based applications. That's not the case with this printer at the moment.
Sure thing. Okie dokie. Print head, again, my main expertise with printers is the inkjet printer I have over here, rather than I have no need for this kind of access control into my house. But something which is in common is print heads. So what is the warranty for the print head that comes with this printer?
That's true. So if you look at our direct-to-card print heads, yes, people know the ceramic layered thermal print head that you know from card printing. But with this printer, there's actually no such printhead inside. So the only printhead you have is in the ink cartridge. And basically every time you change the ink cartridge, you change the printhead. So that being a very costly item in the printer. So if you before where you damage the printhead can be very cost intensive. With this printer, it's actually not the case, because you cannot damage the printhead, because every time you change the ink cartridge, you change that printhead.
Sure. And linked to that, what's the capacity of one of those cartridges, and how many cards on average would you be able to print with one cartridge?
So that really depends on how much ink goes actually on the card. So basically, if you just print like a name or a barcode, I believe you would be able to print like 4,000, 5,000 cards. If you print a very, very high intensive ink card, like a full colored layout with very deep colors, you may get 250 cards out of it. So it's a wide variety of cards you can actually manage with one ink cartridge. Super. But that brings us, sorry if I add on that, but that brings us that you can have a very low cost per card printing setup when you manage your layout according to what you're printing.
Of course. Yeah. Okay. Some more questions that are coming in. Does it work for contactless cards as well? QR codes, etc. Thank you again, James.
Yes, definitely. You can use it on any tech cards. You just need to have the layout. If it's a contact chip card, you just spare out the layout where the chip actually is. If it's a contactless chip card, no need to worry about that. Just print on it, works absolutely fine.
Grand, thank you. We're getting through these questions today. Thank you. Keep them coming at us for the last 2 or 3 minutes while I've got Bjorn here. What is the power rating of the printer? The AC/DC power rating of this printer?
Okay, to be very honest, don't know if I exactly understand that question, because I'm not a technician as such, but I just plugged it into my normal power plug. There is a power supply that comes with it. To be honest, I would need to refer back to that question.
Don't you worry.
I don't know what the conversion rate of that is exactly, but you just plug it into your normal plug. And
domestic power supply or whatever, and okay, that's cool. So other questions we've already asked: what cards can we use with this printer? Can it be used to personalize contact and contactless smart cards? I think we are pretty much through the questions, so I'll ask you before we wrap up and give anyone a final opportunity to pop some questions. What's the response been from the market so far from this, to those who've seen it and had a try out with it?
So we had a lot of very positive response, because people were so amazed by the printing quality that was actually manageable, because we're talking 600 by 1200 DPI, which wasn't possible so far with the regular card printers. And that with an ease of use and that out-of-box printing experience, which was very, very positive.
Super. Thank you very much. And oh no, Oh yes, and we've had that question. I think there might be a little bit of a lag. Has it been popular in any specific markets? Maybe that's a bit similar to what we asked earlier on, but yeah, any particular markets where you've found this has, raised the most eyebrows or had the most traction?
So again, we see this as a direct fit for visitor management or for education market. Again, we just launched this printer on the 29th of September. So we are very eager to see a lot of markets it fits basically, and where we can push it into.
Finally,
if you think of like gyms, membership cards, gift cards, so the more you think about it, the more verticals you can actually approach with it.
Indeed. Final question for now. Is there anything else before we wrap up? Any new products that you would also like to use this platform to tease, or just to share where people can find out more about this and get in touch with you for any further information or inquiries they may have?
So we welcome you to go to our webpage and inquire more. This is the more entry-level ink technology that we came up with. We will have, based on ink technology, even more products coming up. So we're going in the more professional way, which will be called HID Element, just as a teaser. But happy to welcome to our homepage and have a look at it, because this is more like a central issuance machine that we are launching as well, also with an ink technology, just as an outlook. But yeah, there will be more and products coming. Amazing.
We are out of time for now. So vielen Dank. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and to everyone watching, thank you very much for taking time out to join us for the Q&A. We are here throughout the day with lots more IFSEC Tech Talks. Kicking off in a few moments' time, we'll be hearing from Lorenz Technology. But for now, thank you very much indeed for joining us, and bye-bye, HID Global team.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.